6:47, you're just waking up and joining us. We do have all your top headlines for our Friday Smart Start. The breaking scene. News 8's been at this house fire in Brighton since the first calls came in for a 2-alarm fire at this home on Westfall Road, just east of Winton. That was a little before 4 this morning. Another live view there now as we have the sun coming up and you see the damage there on that 2-story home. Here's what we got with the update moments ago from firefighters on scene. There were 2 people inside. Both of them got out on their own. They're okay. This woman, though, one of them did go to the hospital just to be checked out for an observation. You see the damage there all the way up. So more than 2 stories there getting into the attic. The cause remains under investigation. Again, no serious injuries reported, but a lot of damage there on the home. Heading into this weekend, let's get a check of that forecast and the radar to the south, James. They are getting the rain here, though. You stepped outside. Yeah. A few droplets here and there.
That's right. Yeah, barely any sprinkles. Not really worth the umbrella. Not really even worth the rain jacket. Maybe just a regular jacket with temperatures.
Thought we'd need both earlier in the week, but that's why you gotta stay with us.
Yep, that's exactly right. Everything is so light out there. You just barely notice it. Just kind of wetting the roads here. It's the one where you could just stand under a tree and that would protect you. Numbers are going to be in the mid-50s. Yes, still slight chance for rain here and there. We do see a slow warm-up over the next couple days. We'll take a look at the weekend and the 8-day forecast at the end of the show, Brendan.
Thank you, James. Your sunrise traffic updates here approaching 6:50 on this Friday morning. Main expressways still looking good. Again, the only issue we had there was just that area of Westfall still closed a little bit right there from that house fire. We will check sunrise traffic again coming up at 7:26. To other headlines we're following, we can tell you as of this morning, no charges filed after a thruway maintenance worker was killed and another was severely injured when a semi hit them yesterday in Chilai on 90. The man killed on scene was 62 years old. The man in critical condition at the hospital is 58. This happened around 12:30 in the afternoon near the Leroy exit. That's exit 47. That area of the thruway was shut down, full stop for hours as state police investigated. It is back open. That reopened last night. We did hear from troopers who say the best way to avoid this is people, please look around and slow down. Here's what we know about a 16-year-old boy arrested after students at Franklin High narrowly dodged stolen SUVs being driven recklessly on campus as class was getting out yesterday. RPD tells us students and staff had to jump out of the way multiple times. No one was hurt, thankfully, but this is not the first time we've had this happening at a city school, and RPD says it needs to stop.
It's terrible. It's not a game. The offenders that are doing this need to be held accountable, and it needs to stop. I mean, the vast majority of students that go to Franklin are just trying to learn and trying to have a effective learning environment. This is obviously extremely disruptive. I mean, imagine living your life every single day wondering if you're going to get run over by a car.
So lucky no one was hit there. $60 million in state funding meant to help at-risk Jewish nonprofits. This comes after recent bomb threats statewide targeting these houses of worship. The grant will allow the groups to focus more on security, and leaders at the Jewish Federation of Rochester say they are looking to beef up safety at their locations after multiple anti-Semitic threats.
Rochester is not immune from issues of anti-Semitism, from hate crimes, and the Jewish Federation has led an effort called Rock Strong to help secure our Jewish community. We've invested a lot of money into ensuring the safety of our community, and the grant from the state by the governor is a welcome addition because of the money that we've invested here.
The Securing Communities Against Hate Crimes program has also brought about changes in state law, allowing additional charges such as falsely reporting an incident or forcible touching to be prosecuted as a hate crime. Monroe County's only Head Start program may be forced to close its doors during summer break for school. This would affect hundreds of families and staff around Rochester. Action for a Better Community has been running a federally funded preschool program in the county for families with low income for nearly 40 years. But this year, the Health and Human Services Department is renegotiating an estimated $15–16 million annual contract. The current deal runs out in June. The new one doesn't pick up again until September, so there's a gap. That means Early Head Start, which operates year-round, could be off this summer. Leaders say $2 million is still needed to keep it running for July and August and to prevent layoffs next month. News 8's Teresa Marcinberg sat down with the CEO at Action for a Better Community. Jerome Underwood will have more of that conversation tonight, News 8 at 5. Everything gets busy for the first day of the Lilac Festival opening at Highland Park. That's where we find Michaela Singleton once again this morning as we get ready for the next 10 days. And yes, now we do have to talk about the lilacs themselves.
Of course we do, Brennan. I mean, hey, we already talked about music, food, merch, all of the wonderful things you're coming for, but that number one is these gorgeous lilacs. I'm completely surrounded by these beautiful blooms, which is why we now turn to the man of the hour taking care of these beautiful flowers, Mark Quinn, our superintendent of horticulture. Mark, are we not just thrilled how beautifully we're blooming in time for the festival?
It couldn't be better. It's been a real interesting bloom year. They started early and it looks like they're going to go for a long time, but we'd consider them at peak right now. It's a great time to see lilacs.
A perfect time for peak for our opening day. Now, I'm new to Rochester, and folks have been telling me that some of these plants have been here for about 100 years. I mean, talk to me about just taking care of them.
Oh, it's great. Not just 100 years, way longer than that. There's a plant behind me that I know was planted in 1892. That's the oldest one I can find in the collection, but there's 500 varieties and about 1,200 shrubs in the collection, and they are in the optimal spot in the south-facing hillside. Lilacs like a lot of sun, and we're lucky to be caring for this great collection, one of the best in the world.
In fact, I was told that this is one of the biggest collections in the entire north, not just the Northeast, actually, I want to say. The country, all of the United States. So you want to come to Rochester for lilacs.
This is the place for lilacs. There are so many different varieties, and it's a beautiful time of year to see the park and see the lilacs. It's a great time of morning to be here. The smell of the lilacs is just fragrant throughout the whole park right now. It's great here. We like to talk about, what to do to care for lilacs. People like to have their lilacs in their yard. What I tell people is don't put them in a wet spot and make sure you've got a lot of sun and you'll get a great plant. They're very, very durable plants.
And we love that. I wish you guys could be here with me just taking in the scent of spring. Come down here yourself for the first day of Lilac Fest 2024. That's going to be it for us here on News 8, our coverage of Lilac Fest, and there will be so much more ahead of us later in our day. Reporting live from Highland Park, Michaela Singleton, News 8.
Michaela, thank you. Maybe right there to close out that interview.
Yeah.
Your advice for Stumpy in your yard.
Gosh, get them in the sun. Maybe that's been my problem. Yeah, mine are not looking great around my yard, but so glad to see that. So nice when it lines up with the festival. Great stuff. Get some food, eat it, enjoy it in the bushes. Hey, I didn't mention this morning. An incredible opportunity to potentially view the Northern Lights tonight. Go up to Lake Ontario at about 2 a.m. and look north. You might get lucky. We've got mass coronal ejection, basically a huge sunspot that may produce some northern lights for us tonight.
Boy, just one more thing to do this weekend around Rochester. Happy Mother's Day weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings coming your way.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.